The choice of plants that you can actually grow through autumn and winter are quite limited. Only the hardiest plants will actually survive, even if they're in an insulated greenhouse. So when I'm doing things like leafy greens and salads, I like to make sure I do plenty of everything, because there's also a good chance that they could succumb to pests or extreme weather. So it's always good to have plenty of plants to back up, especially when it comes to things like spinach, which are quite tender leafed through autumn and winter. So ideally plants like that you need to keep covered up. Some plants are going to need fleecing as well, just in case it gets too cold. So once again, sticking to the hardiest types of plants is your best option. I'm growing some in containers in this greenhouse, so I can offer that little bit more protection when needed, but we're also putting things outside in hoop tunnels, so they're more susceptible to elements. So at that point, that's when you'll be needing fleece. And keeping that netting over as well, because there's still going to be animals that might want to take a bit of a nibble when there's not so much food about as there were in summer. So I'm going to multi-sow some extra spinach, and we're also going to do some chard, some of which will be in here, some of which will go outside. But I'm going to sow them all into one tray and just split that tray. So we're still only using a small area for growing the seedlings, but we can get 2 different varieties in and then prick them out when they're tiny little seedlings and move them on. One of the great things about growing chard is that it's what's called a biennial plant, which means it's got a 2-year life cycle. So it will grow for 2 years, giving 2 harvests before it goes to seed. And then you can still collect the seeds for future plantings as well. A lot of people don't actually prefer chard as much as they would spinach, because it's a little bit more bitter tasting. But if you grow it through autumn and winter, the cold actually makes it sweeter, because they can survive a frost. And with quite a lot of plants that get hit by a frost, they become sweeter tasting, as do parsnips. And then obviously you've got that choice of harvesting baby leaves or waiting till it becomes a fully mature plant. Although that plant can survive over winter and it can take frost, it can't tolerate temperatures lower than -9, because that will kill the plant. So if you live in an area where it doesn't get below, you can grow these outside in your garden all over winter and get that second harvest early in spring. So basically, once again, fill the tray, compress it down a little bit and give it a good water. So I'm just going to use this stick to separate this tray. So because I'm growing them in such a big tray, there's plenty of compost in there to allow those plants to get a little bit bigger than normal. But you could also just put these into individual pots and grow on like that. But because I'm also trying to get rid of old seed this year, I'm just going to broadcast these spinach seeds all over the top of this half tray. Spinach is called Medania, and it's a good one to grow through autumn and winter. Especially since you know it's not going to bolt, because it's past its time in here to bolt. And we've put quite a lot of seeds on there. And then basically we'll do exactly the same with the chard. And chard's quite big seeds. Very similar to beetroot. So we'll spread these out best we can. And I don't even need to label this tray either, because I'll be able to tell which is which when they come up. I think that's enough. Make sure they're all nicely distributed across top of this compost, ideally with a bit of a gap in between each. Then I'm just going to lightly tap them down so they've got good contact, especially these bigger seeds. And we'll just finish that off with a light covering of compost, just enough to see those seeds disappear. Now we'll water those in as well. And we're just going to leave these in greenhouse to germinate, but obviously you could take them indoors to speed that process up. Because at this time of year, the quicker your seeds germinate, the better. We need to get them to decent sized plants if we're going to overwinter them. If they're too small, they won't survive. Also, because I'm actually growing them in this greenhouse, I'm going to put a propagator top on them as well. And that's not so much to create heat, although that wouldn't hurt, but it's to keep the mice from digging these seeds up. Because the colder it gets, the less food that's about for rodents as well. So they'll try and get whatever they can from anywhere they can. And then we've got that nicely set up. Lots of spinach seedlings to come, lots of chard. When we do these, we'll prick some out and we'll move them on to either larger cells or pots, and we'll leave some in there to keep growing, and once again staggering these plantings as we start and take them outside into those oak tunnels or planting in containers inside this greenhouse. Again, that's a little bit of something extra, a bit of something different to add to us autumn and winter salads. And chard can be planted really close together if you wanted to, and just harvest smaller leaves. Other than that, you want to be planting them about a foot apart to grow fully mature plants come next spring. But we're doing both ends of this scale. We're going to grow them in containers in here closer together and harvest baby leaves from them. And then we're also going to put some outside in the oak tunnels, get them fleeced, keep them protected, and then by early spring next year we'll have some fully grown chards. So if you've not already subscribed to this gardening channel, then please just hit that subscribe button and press that notifications bell, and we'll see you next time we upload a video. Thanks for watching. You all take care.